Hello, hope you are doing well. My name is Hashir Javed. My student ID is 230389495. As you can see on my student ID card, I am here to explain a fact sheet on FOB contracts. First of all, let me tell you what basically the FOB contracts are. We can say that free on board contracts are agreements in which the seller is responsible for delivering goods to a specified location, typically a shipping vessel, at which point the risk and title of the goods transfer to the buyer. The seller bears all costs and risks until the goods are loaded onto the vessel. A crucial phrase in international trade, free on board, refers to the moment when the buyer acquires ownership and responsibility for the products from the seller, establishing the obligations of each party participating in the shipping process requires FOB contracts. Now I would like to discuss the key components of the fact sheet, which are parties which are involved, times of delivery. I will tell you about the seller's responsibilities as well as buyer's responsibilities, passing of risk and title, and then which would be like shipping terms, cost implications, remedies available, relevant case law, relevant legislation, and some other resources. So let me start and explain the whole fact sheet. Firstly, the participating parties, that is the seller, the person in charge of transporting the items to the shipping location and making sure that they are put onto the ship. Buyer, the individual who buys the products and takes ownership of them after they are placed into the ship. Then there are the times of deliveries, that is the loading point, the specified location where the seller delivers the goods for loading onto the vessel. It is crucial that this location is clearly defined. There are few shipping instructions that the buyer must provide timely instructions regarding the vessel and shipping arrangements to avoid delays. Then after that, there are the responsibilities of the seller and buyer. Basically, the seller's duties are to deliver the goods over the ship's rail at the designated port, notify the buyer of the shipping details, including the vessel's name, bear all costs associated with loading the goods onto the vessel, ensure that the goods conform to the contract specifications at the time of shipment, and after that, let me explain the buyer duties. Nominate the vessel for shipment and provide timely notification to the seller. Bear the costs and risk associated with the goods once they are loaded onto the vessel. Ensure that they have the necessary insurance for the goods during transit. Then in the fact sheet, we have the passing of risk and title under FOB contracts. Risk typically passes from the seller to the buyer once the goods are loaded onto the vessel. This is consistent with Section 20 of the Sale of Goods Act 1979, which states that risk passes with property unless otherwise agreed. The buyer has an insurable interest in the goods from the moment they are loaded onto the ship. After that, there are the shipping terms, FOB origin, title, and risk transfer to the buyer as soon as the goods are loaded onto the shipping vessel at the seller's location. The buyer pays for all shipping costs from that point onward. Then, if we talk about the FOB destination, the seller retains responsibility for the goods until they reach the buyer's specified destination. The seller pays for all shipping costs until the goods arrive and the risk transfers to the buyer upon delivery. Then, in a basic fact sheet, there are cost consequences. Firstly, freight charges, depending on whether the contract is FOB origin or destination. The distribution of freight charges might have a substantial effect on the transaction's overall cost. Then the insurance under FOB origin. Buyers must arrange insurance after the items are on board, which may raise their total expenses. We also have the remedies and dispute resolution, like for breach of contract. If the seller fails to deliver the goods as per the contract, the buyer can claim damages for the non-delivery as per Section 51 of the Sale of Goods Act 1979. Conversely, if the buyer refuses to accept the goods without valid reason, the seller may seek the damages or the price of the goods under Section 49. Then, for the dispute resolution mechanisms, the contract should outline how disputes will be resolved, whether through arbitration, mediation, or litigation. This is particularly important in international transactions. After that, the relevant legislation, as you can see, or the Sale of Goods Act 1979 UK, governs the sale of goods and includes provisions relevant to FOB contracts, particularly regarding the transfer of ownership and risk. Carriage of Goods by Sea Act 1971 UK regulates the rights and liabilities of parties involved in the carriage of goods by sea, impacting FOB agreements. International Commercial Terms Incoterms 2020, published by the International Chamber of Commerce. These terms provide standardized definitions and rules for the international trade, including FOB. Here at the last, you can see the relevant case law. Kowalski Thompson established that the seller's duty is to deliver goods over the ship's rail, while the buyer is considered the shipper. And the second case law is Pirene Co Ltd versus India Steam Navigation Co Ltd. Clarified the obligations of the seller and buyer in an FOB contract, emphasizing the importance of the buyer's nomination of the vessel. And the third case law is English versus Stock, highlighted that risk passes upon shipment even if property has not yet passed. Then I would like to conclude this fact sheet presentation as the FOB contracts play an important role in international trade logistics, balancing buyers and sellers' responsibilities and risks. Understanding these agreements can result in more efficient shipping operations and better risk management. Thank you.